My hat's off to them. So there's all this pressure, and you have this amazing, like, someone's playing you, and she wins an Emmy. So how, and I know Kelsey Grammer, so I imagine that is how you get involved with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and are part of this epic dinner scene that we are still talking about all these seasons later.
I was in New York on a book tour, and Camille called me to tell me how terrible, that's not exactly the word she used, but sort of, these women that are less than couth, not the nicest, how they treated her and how she felt ganged up on. And, if I figured she'd fight her own battle. I fight my own. So I'm like, yeah, dish it back to her. She sounds like a real bitch. I mean, I didn't know what to say. But then Kelsey called and said, can you just go with her to this sort of girls' dinner so that she doesn't get attacked? So she has a friend there, and sort of packaged it that way. And, he was a very good friend of mine. So I was happy to do it. It turned out to be a whole lot of something else on both of their ends. And she invited me to a girls' night pizza party and told me it was casual. So I dressed like you dressed to go to a pizza party. I actually didn't care that I was going to be on TV for a reality show. I didn't even buy anything new. I honestly just didn't care. I show up and they're all in ball gowns. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm looking around like, seriously? So at that point, it wasn't until I watched it later and saw the interviews Camille had done prior to that night ever taking place, where she's setting up a scenario saying, well, yeah, my friend Allison might be there. She gets a little loud when she drinks or something like that. I'm like, where did that come from? When has that ever happened with she and I ever, been in a situation where she even saw that? She wasn't even there to see anything like that. And that doesn't happen. So I wondered then, okay, I was set up, she's setting the stage for a story. This is preconceived. So then she had called. So unbeknownst to me, while she's filming that, she's calling me and saying, I want you to have a good time. I know you're going to be kind of the odd man out. So like, what do you like to drink? And so I said, girl, I like the Polo Lounge, lavender lemon drops. That's my thing. And that's where I'd go for my lavender lemon drop. Cause at the time I lived in Beverly Hills.
And we go to the Polo Lounge, of course.
All the time. Yes. I lived off Sunset and Doheny. I was like right there. And so I get there and there are these mammoth drinks that they've got, like this butler that shows up every time you get half down, and it ends up being this 4-hour dinner from hell. And it was from hell. My car was taken away, so I couldn't leave during filming, which I guess is how they keep some of the people there. And on top of that, I was too far in. If I left Camille at that point, I just stirred up a bunch of stuff and then dropped the mic and left. So I'm like, I got to stay now, no matter what, just to make sure she's not alone being attacked. So I did learn to never show loyalty to a friend who's never been challenged to show it for you. And that was a big takeaway for me from that night. And just the whole thing, they knew how they were going to come at me. They got little huddles when I went to the, ladies' room. I'd come out and they're all like in a group, like whispering and talking. And it was just clearly a setup. I'm like, this sucks. What do I do now? I knew it was going to be bad. I had been on reality shows before for other friends that were famous. Like I'm friends with Chris Knight and Adrian Curry. So they had My Fair Brady. So I was at their wedding and I went to her bachelorette party. I was never more than like a 4-second snippet. So I'm thinking nothing of it. And then they make the entire thing about me and spin off all these specials. And the irony of it, though, is I'm on Cameo now, where you can get celebrities to do birthday greetings. I have made more fabulous gay friends who have dinner party from hell themed birthday parties for their boyfriends that want a video of me saying he will never emotionally fulfill you. Know that. And or that he will fulfill them, however they want it to be said. But it's just funny to me, and they just get so excited. So if I had to trade in a group of judgmental people in the beginning that may have thought I was great going in and not afterwards, if I have to trade in people who walk on water for some fun gays, I'm totally down with that as a fan trade, you know?
Listen, I mean, it's a great line. I mean, did you even know Camille really before that? Or was it really Kelsey? Like, you weren't really, or were you friends with Camille? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I was at Disneyland with our kids for the 50th with Kelsey to walk the gold carpet once. When I think of a friend, I think of a friend as somebody who's gone out of their way for you or that you feel sort of closer to. That's more of what I had with Kelsey. With Camille, no, she was more of, you know, when you have a friend that you really like and then they've got a spouse and you're just kind of nice to them and you see them around from time to time. That's really what it was. There was no loyalty on her end, apparently. So I stopped being friends with her after that. And I can't even say stop being friends. We were never actually friends. It was an opportunity for us to become friends that she sort of threw away. And it wasn't even just that episode and what she did. Because if somebody apologizes, I am one to often just forgive, because that's just who I am. But then she was mocking me vaping, you know, on little video clips on social media after that. I'm like, okay, so you're just a bitch. I'm like, that's not cool. I'm like, first of all, I quit smoking. Congratulations to me. And I was so stressed at that dinner that I didn't even care. I'm like, it's my friend's house. It's Kelsey's house. I'm going to vape if I want. If you don't like it, get out. That's exactly how I felt. I was going to make myself comfortable at that point because I couldn't leave the damn party and I'd been there 4 hours and I just didn't care.
Did you feel more set up by like production or Camille or Kelsey, or like, who do you feel the most like this is a setup against me?
They definitely have a housewife formula. I think we all know what that is. Okay. Yes. It involves alcohol, lots of it. It involves women who are frenemies, but pretend like they're real tight, but then they're not. And they secretly hate each other, but let's have lunch and talk about what a bitch you are. Like, they have this formula. Kelseys Motive was totally different than the producers and the people on the show. The women on the show, they're just making their money. That's how they make their money. They've got to keep the ratings to make their bank, to put food on the table. Got it. The producers, my daughter's in film. I tell her, I'm like, don't be a reality producer.